Hi everyone, my name is Rob and welcome to Tesla Tourist. Today we're in Keswick, having travelled up last night, and we have a busy weekend ahead. Today we're going to walk up Skiddaw, which is the fourth highest peak in England. Then we're going to put the Tesla to the test tomorrow, seeing how we will get on heading back to London to watch an FA Cup match to see if charging is actually a problem when you're on a strict timeline. This video is going to focus on the walk up Skiddaw, so let's get out there. We stayed at the Keswick Country House Hotel, which is a good hotel to stay at in a great location. They offer a half-board package with a good breakfast and a 3-course dinner. Typically you need to stay for a minimum of 2 nights. And here we can just have a quick look at the McLaren in case you spotted it. Let's have a little look around the room. It actually has a key, which you don't see too often these days. And this was a family room, so they have a double and a single bed. As you can see, there is a freestanding wardrobe, table and chair, and a view out over some of the outbuildings. There is a TV and also a desk if you need to do a bit of work, and the bathroom itself is a bit basic with a shower over the bath, but perfectly okay. We did have a good breakfast before the walk, and it is a buffet, so you can help yourself to whatever you like. Okay, on to the walk. Skiddaw is located just north of Keswick, and it is a short drive to a car park where you can start the walk. It's good to get there early, and we got one of the last spaces. As you can see, it's not the best of weather today, so at the height of the summer you can expect it to be a lot busier. There is a view from the car park over the valley down towards Keswick, and you can get a glimpse of Bassenthwaite Lake over to the right. Looking the other way towards the climb, we can see that we're not going to get the best of views with low cloud cover, and it is raining, but it should be a good day out. One thing we can expect is that the weather will be a lot different at the top. We are going to make our way up from the car park and follow the path northeast and then north to the start of the ascent. The path is easy to follow, and you will need to decide whether you go via Little Man or not. As we begin the walk, it is a gentle start alongside a couple of fields, which is a good way to get you started and ease you into the climb. Skiddaw is 3,054 feet high at the summit, which is 931 metres, and as mentioned, it is the fourth highest peak in England, the others being Scafell Pike, Scafell and Helvellyn, all also in the Lake District. You will pass the Hawell Monument, which is a memorial to 2 Skiddaw shepherds, Edward and Joseph Hawell of Lonscale. As we continue along the path, we get our first sight of where the walk will become more of a challenge, and where you can see one of the main incline starts as it zigzags its way up the fell. There is a bit of light rain at this stage, but as we start to climb, we can see that the views will be restricted during the walk. A quick stop to look towards Keswick, where we can see Derwent Water in the distance, and also the car park where we started. We've not gained that much height at this stage, so the hard work begins. As the track starts to get steeper, we see a few other people wanting to make the ascent. We also saw someone out for their morning run. The fell runners really are amazingly fit. The zigzag path does seem to go on for some distance, but as you can see, the view of the scenery is quite limited, but as the cloud breaks we get another view of Derwent Water. As we get to the top of this incline, the path starts to level out and the wind is starting to pick up, and we can expect that to get a lot higher as we get closer to the top. I did try a short piece to camera, but the GoPro wind muffler was not quite good enough. I was describing a chat that I'd had with some people who were coming down, and they described the conditions at the top as a bit of a challenge. As the path continues, I actually took a FaceTime call with my grandson, who was with me the last time I went up Skiddaw. It was also very windy that day and a bit colder, but it is good to see you can get a signal up there. This was the time to make the decision about our route as the wind and rain increases. Going via Skiddaw Little Man to the left will take you up along a ridge that will be very windy, whereas going to the right will provide a bit more shelter. The last time I went up Skiddaw, I did go via Little Man and decided to take the sheltered path on this occasion. This seems to work well, and there is a nice gentle walk before we start the climb towards the summit. As we approach the point where the two paths merge again, the shelter is a lot less and the wind increases. You are then totally exposed to the moisture in the clouds, and that certainly puts your waterproof to the test, and on this occasion my waterproof did not perform too well, and despite being okay on previous walks, it failed the test this time. You can see the clouds getting blown horizontally from the west side of the fell, and on one side of my jacket it was completely soaked, and on the other side it was perfectly dry. The cairns mark the way to help you when there is snow on the ground, but the path is very visible during this walk. As we're on the ridge towards the summit, you can get a real sense of the power of the wind. The summit comes into view and we can see the trig point ahead and also a small shelter to the left. We reach the trig point and there is also another pillar that has a dial on top showing you what you can see on a clear day. Here is a view of it, but we will not be benefiting from that today. I did try another short piece to camera, but again that did not work, but at least we can see that we were not the only ones up there. Here's a short clip of the trig point when we were last at the summit and it had ice formed on it. It's usually nice to have a short break at the top and have a cup of tea from your flask, but on this occasion it was best to do this when we got a bit more shelter as we headed back down. This meant we were able to expose the other side of our jackets to the weather. It was interesting to see some other people who had gone up for a bike ride but had decided to push them for a while. When we were back in the shelter, we were able to have a cup of tea and continue the descent, although it was nice to have a level section for a while. We could also start to contemplate that 3-course dinner waiting at the hotel when we get down. We are soon at the far end of the ridge and lose the shelter as we continue the descent, and it is not long before we get back to the start of the Zig Zags and the cloud breaks and we can see the car park in the distance. There is still a bit of rain as we get to the last section of the walk, and now looking forward to getting back to the car. When we get back to the car park, we can see that a lot of the other walkers have already left, and as we look back towards the summit of the Skiddaw, still in cloud cover, we can reflect on how very different the weather is at the top. A really good walk and time to take off the waterproofs. We wanted to go and add some charge before our drive to London in the morning, but the chargers in booths were all occupied. There are a few in the town, although we failed to find the ones in the central car park, although I do know where they are now. The nearest Tesla superchargers are at Reged near Penrith, or if you go on to T-Bay on the southbound carriageway. We did, however, get a charge ready for the trip the following day. We then headed back to the hotel, and as mentioned, here is the treat we got when we got back with a 3-course meal. The starter was haggis, neeps and tatties, which for those that aren't aware is haggis, swede and potatoes. The main course was pan-fried chicken breast, and dessert was a homemade pineapple upside-down cake, which was all very nice. Anyway, time for bed and get a good sleep before another busy day. As we look back on that enjoyable walk, I'd like to thank you for coming along, and if you'd like to see what it's like doing a 300-mile day trip to London for an FA Cup match and see how easy it is with the Tesla, then please make sure you watch my next video.